The following program contains adult language and mature subject matter. Listener discretion is advised.
Another one.
One more time.
Hey, everybody, welcome to One Song Each, the podcast of banter between three idiots about some dumb songs and shit. I'm a Lou Machine. With me is...
Diabolu Frank.
And?
Mr. Fixit.
I don't want to start.
I think Mr. Fixit.
No, I'll let Frank go first.
Mr. Fixit.
No, Frank.
Mr. Fixit.
Because you've played us like 15 songs in a row.
No, I just have
you
music
can
playing
pick
in
one
the
of
background.
those. So go ahead and
I
play
want
the
to
song,
hear
Mr.
Frank's
Fixit.
story.
All right.
Is this a play song first, then tell story, or is this a...
No, because we all know this song. The song I picked is Interpol's 2005 single, Evil.
Oh, that's on my list somewhere, too.
Nice. Okay.
I didn't
So
attribute a
you'll be
story
able
to it.
chime
I
in.
just wanted to talk about it, so I'm glad you're going to do it. I can knock it out.
I'm trying to remember where I was exposed to this song first. I want to say that it was Mr. Fixit's buddy Cheeto had burned like a CD of vintage porn, some songs, and some videos, sometimes involving vintage-ish porn. But he also had some music videos, and one of them was For Evil.
That sounds like my buddy Cheeto right there.
The video is very interesting. If you haven't seen it, it takes place at the scene of a car crash, probably fatal. One of the victims in the car crash is a puppet. And I don't remember, was everybody a puppet or was it just the one?
No, just him.
And this puppet is particularly disturbing because it mostly looks like one of the human characters from like a Sesame Street or something. But they went that extra step to give him glassy eyes and teeth, porcelain teeth. And if you've never seen when they do this, it's not done very often. I think Dark Crystal is probably an example of them going that route. It's very unnerving. It's not what you expect out of your puppets. You really expect that felt thing going on. And so this guy's dancing weirdly in front of this traumatic collision, ambulance lights flashing. He's blinking, he's talking, his mouth's moving. Very, very peculiar.
I want to listen to the song.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, this song is fucking great.
Rosemary, heaven restores you in life. You're coming with me through the aging, the fearing, the strife. It's the smiling on the package, it's the faces in the sand. It's the thought that moves you upward, embracing me with two hands. Right, we'll take you places, yeah, maybe to the beach. When your friends, they do come crying, tell them now your pleasure's set upon slow release. Hang away, great smile, sensitive to fake denial. But hey, who's on trial? It took a lifespan with no cellmate, a long way back. Sandy, why can't we look the other way?
I didn't know you got this off of that CD.
I believe so. I believe that was my
Cheeto gave
introduction.
us.
Yeah.
I follow the studio, I think, that created this puppet for this video. They did a bunch of other stuff.
It's a very well done. I know that kind of marionette type stuff that they're doing there, especially in front of live action, is probably very difficult to pull off. And I love his little dad dancing too. It was Drake.
I had that dead look in his eyes.
Yeah,
You're right. The teeth are very unnerving.
very much. And he's got the tongue too. That doesn't help.
I don't know. So the
The
studio...
gums too.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
got pink gums. He's
The
like
s-
dentures in his
The
face.
studio that did this sculpt also did that art series. I'm sure you've seen him, where it's like a weird, like, alien-looking guy, and he's into these like weird suburban settings. Two big dudes are holding him back with this woman. They're like pouring milk on her and stuff, and it looks like a weird.
No,
you
I haven't
seen them?
seen this, no.
They're really, really off-putting art pieces. That studio that did this guy also did the alien for that artist, or being for that. I don't know if he's supposed to be an alien, but
It's so funny that you bring that up, dude. Because every time Cheeto would give me a disc, I was kind of hesitant
What am I going to open up here?
Yeah, he just had this. He had a really weird sense of humor. Like, hey, I burnt you a disc. You'll put it on your computer. You'll see why. And I'm like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? And yes, you'd have some vintage porn with some cool music and just really random shit.
The band enjoyed his 70s Bush.
It's just crazy how the mouth is mimicking the song so well.
Yeah.
But the eyes don't match what the mouth is doing.
Well, and the eyes are too wide, and they're very cartoony, and then you have those very realistic teeth and tongue.
Look at the brow.
Yeah.
With no sailing.
Ooh, yeah, that is creepy. Oh, rapey, too. Oh, so they have these. It's this bizarre alien creature who's taking a shit, taking off skin suits, and trying to molest women, and hanging out at slumber parties where the women are all like live action real women, and then this one puppet is in the mix.
You can see the similarities in the sculpt, the weird semi-featureless but not featureless face or whatever.
There's a lack of distinct features, and then you have these extremely detailed teeth, but then the nose is a mass, no actual nostrils or anything. Mr. Fixit, do you want to describe what happens in this video? What are we seeing?
It was a car wreck, and I'm assuming the puppet and his lover were wounded, and his lover, I'm assuming, died, or someone. There's a woman that.
Yeah, well, she's still breathing when they get her in the ambulance.
But I don't know if she's
it's
in the
not
other
clear.
vehicle because it looks like two vehicles slammed into each other. He's just being transported to the hospital as we're watching him sing.
They put the ambi bag on him, and they take him into surgery.
So
and
why
then
did you pick this song?
And then at the end he's dancing, and the room is cleared, and then they turn the
it's kinda
lights.
like this creepy.
So I think it's pretty clear he dies. I think he's
so?
that's the go.
Oh,
They leave the room and they turn off the lights, and he's left there alone.
That's-
It's like
so
I think
it's his
he's
body
I think
leaving?
Yeah, that's his spirit in the operating room. I think I dug the song. I thought it was a great freaking song. I ended up buying a total of 3 Interpol albums before I kind of lost interest.
Yeah.
Interpol's a nice band. They got a strong Joy Division influence. You can't miss it. I love the name Interpol. And I love the concept of an Interpol. It's just very cool, very swinging 60s bonding agents kind of thing. I liked a number of their songs, but I never liked either of their songs as much as I liked Evil. Evil was a song that just got stuck in my brain for the longest time. And you look at the lyrics: Rosemary, heaven restores you in life, coming with me through the aging, the fear, and the strife. It's the smiling on the package, it's the face in the sand. It's the thought that holds you upwards, embracing me with 2 hands. Right will take you places, yeah, maybe to the beach. When your friends, they do come crying, tell them how your pleasure's set upon slow release. Hey, wait, great smile, sensitive to fate, not denial. But hey, who's on trial? It took a lifespan with no cellmate, the long way back. Sandy, why can't we look the other way? He speaks about trouble, yeah, we think about the land. We smile like all people, feeling a real tan. I can take you places. Do you need a new man? Wipe the pollen from the faces. Make revision to a dream while you wait in the van. Leave some shards upon the belly. Leave some grease inside my hand. It's a sentimental jury in the makings of a good plan. You've come to love me lightly. You've come to hold me tight. Is this motion everlasting, or do shudders pass in the night? That's the majority of the lyrics, aside from the repeating chorus. This was still the early days of the internet when this song came out, relatively speaking. You didn't have immediate, easy access to the lyrics of every song ever. There was actually a time when copyrights and songwriters' rights were able to prevent lyrics from appearing on the internet. So mostly I went off of what I heard, and most of the lyrics are fairly clear as sung by the band. But when I would hear this song, I had my own interpretation of this. The way that I heard this song, and I'm sure a ton of this is me projecting my own bullshit on the song. My interpretation is the Rosemary he was basically singing to his right hand, his stroking hand. I think the shards upon the belly was him coming on his own belly. The grease in the hand was the
I think
lubricant.
you've mentioned this to me once.
Right. And it probably helped that for many years I drove a van too. And so my interpretation of this, well, this is a person who has all these, like, why can't you look the other way? He judges his potential mates harshly. He's a critical person, but also filled with self-doubt and probably discounting people that could be in his life to avoid the pain or avoid being judged himself. And so he just ends up excluding any, like, romantic love in his life. It's sentimental jury and the makings of a good plan. This guy is just going to jerk off for the rest of his life. He's never going to put himself out there, but he's also at the same time asking himself, why do I have to be so critical? Why do I have to be so harsh? Why can't I just look the other way at other person's faults? Why can't I be honest about my own faults and move on with my life and actually have this love that's going to last me into the end of my life? But if nothing else, I've always got old Rosemary. Rosemary will last with me for the rest of my life, regardless of if I ever get past my old bullshit and have somebody else in my life. So obviously that was me projecting. Now, if you listen to the lyrics, though, there's a lot of room for interpretation there. I don't know. Have you guys had any? What is your interpretation of this song?
I have never had any interpretation of this song.
It just sounded good.
Yeah.
Cool video?
I don't. Yeah, because a lot of it is just sort of imagery.
Yeah.
They're just saying imagery. So I've never thought.
And there's a lot of
long
bands
enough.
that do, like Michael Stipe and REM. I defy you to tell me what an REM song is actually about more often than not, because it's all about these images when you actually look at the lyrics, and he won't answer you if you ask him what the fuck is this song about. Most REM songs, with the exception of something obvious like Everybody Hurts, you don't know what the fuck the song is actually about. You know,
Orange Crush, about a soda pop.
Or it's about Agent Orange. I've heard a bunch of interpretations.
No. He's got his smile. He's got his orange crush.
I've got my smile. So, I just held on to my interpretation of the song for years. You know, the song came out in 04, 05, somewhere in there. So you're talking about 13 years of having that interpretation in my mind. So for some reason, possibly because I was like, wow, Evil's a great song, maybe I ought to do that for one song each, I actually looked at the Wikipedia page and looked into it. No. The most common belief about what the song is about is the Rosemary of the song is Rosemary West, wife of Fred West, teenage woman in England who would be hanging out at the bus stop, and this creepy older guy, like 20 years her senior, would come up and flirt with her and shit. He manages to woo her as a teenager, like 14, 15 years old, out of her parents' home to come live with him, shack up with him. Parents hated it. Parents were constantly calling the cops, trying to break them up. Couldn't get them broke up. He had already had at least one child from another marriage, but he was also a serial rapist. And so he gets popped and he goes to prison. And because of circumstances, Rosemary ends up raising his child for the time period that he's in prison. Shortly before he's going to be released from prison, Rosemary murders his child. He comes back and he's okay with it. Not only that, but then Fred and Rosemary West then proceed to make a habit of going up and picking up teenage and 20-something-year-old girls, taking them back to their trailer, committing sadistic sexual acts against them, murdering them, and then burying the bodies. They finally get caught. Fred dies in prison. Rosemary, I think she finally got out a few years ago, but she spent years in prison for being his accomplice. She has stated, A, I had mental problems, and B, it was all Fred. Fred's the one who was the mastermind. I was an abused wife, and I just did what he told me to do. But the reason why she spent decades in prison was because they had plenty enough proof to show that she was involved with the sexual acts. Also, they, between them, conceived multiple children, and if they didn't like the kid, they'd kill the successive kids. So they killed other people's kids, they killed their own kids, both from his union with his first wife. Oh, and they murdered his wife, too, his first wife. Because his first wife was trying to find out what happened to her kids, so eventually they had to off her, too. But they did not kill, if I remember correctly, they did not kill all the children he had with his first wife, so they just lied to these kids that they liked enough to keep alive about what happened to their mommy and to their sister or what have you. And this went on for years and years. Apparently, these guys were active for something like 15, 20 years as serial killers.
What?
Before they got busted finally, and there's this great big scandal in the UK. Being that it was the UK, we never heard about it. I can't believe through osmosis or whatever that I'd never heard about these crimes. But yeah, so my interpretation of that song was completely wrong. And the fact that I saw a lot of myself in my interpretation of that song, only to find out what this song was actually about, is like, holy fucking shit, this is all very disquieting things to come across.
I don't like that song anymore.
I know, man.
I was just
feel
joking.
really
Hey, I was just joking. I don't even like that song. Ha! I'm just joking.
So, yeah, how about that? How's that for some fucking holy shit? I did not know that was
Lord.
the case. So, I know that I've already sung the song, or not sung the song, but I've read the lyrics to you guys already.
Do it again.
Let's look at these lyrics again, recognizing this new context. It's the smiling on the package. It's the faces in the stand. It's the thought that holds you upwards, embracing me with two hands. Right, we'll take you places. Yeah, maybe to the beach. When your friends, they do come crying, tell them how your pleasure's set on slow release. Because they would sexually torture these people for long periods of time, too. It took a lifespan with no cellmate. The long way back. Sandy, why can't we look the other way? He speaks about travel. Yeah, we think about the land. We smile like all the people, feeling real tan. I can take you places. Do you need a new man? Wipe the pollen from the faces. Make revision to a dream while you wait in the van.
I guess. Well, I guess the title of the song now makes sense.
Gives it away.
Well,
Evil.
again, it's a sentimental jury. They were sentimental enough not to kill Rosemary or what have you. She got to live and eventually be released. You know, it's like you go back. It's just like, so yeah, it's really fucking fucked. So hey, try to enjoy Evil from now on and not feel completely disgusted and disturbed.
Yeah, thanks, Frank.
I am a noted ruiner, but I had to. You could see how I had to share that shit though.
Yeah.
Once I came across
That's
it,
insane.
that's fucking insane. I don't know if the if Interpol has ever confirmed that to be the case, but that is the consensus opinion of what that song is about. And when you
It's
review the
really-
lyrics
yeah, it
again,
makes-
it's like, oh, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I mean, the name of the song is Evil.
Evil.
I mean,
Right.
it makes
Yeah.
a lot of sense.
I always thought that was weird that the name of the song was Evil, but
Right.
I just assumed something else.
And now we know.
Maybe we should just wrap the episode up.
I told you should let me be the close. Well, actually, I think that maybe for the mental health of our audience, we should probably lighten the mood after this supremely dark opening.
Yeah, Mac.
Or you guys can pick some more fucked up songs and we'll do those.
Hold on, let me get back to my list.
You got anything good and fucked up for us, Matt?
No.
Because Fixit seems to still be holding out on us.
Yeah. I can do a fucked up one. You want to do a fucked up one?
Let's go fucked up.
All right.
So, hey, Fixit, you already picked your song?
No, I'm going to let him go next because I'd have to reach into my bag and find something.
That's not a good turn of phrase in this context.
Catch you with my death bag.
I'm going to have to reach into my bag and find something. I guess this will be our Halloween episode.
If I see the morning now, I'll have one more yesterday. Take life from tomorrow, 'cause I burned out my today. If I get up to the top, I know I'll just go back downhill. I've got a gun to know a future, and it's time to rock my world. I down another glass of courage, and I got a foreign sea. We're not ready to see you yet. 99 ways to lie. We're not ready to see you yet.
So my song is 99 Ways to Die by Megadeth. This was on the 1993 soundtrack to the Beavis and Butt-Head Experience.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Now, is that the movie? No, that was being
Yes.
invited to America.
I thought that, hold on. Well, now let me confirm. Maybe I just said it wrong. Probably get that right. So which one was the Beavis and Butt-Head Experience?
I think maybe it was just TV related, or maybe it was like another follow-up after the movie. Because I think the movie soundtrack did pretty well.
Okay, yeah, the Beavis and Butt-Head Experience is a compilation album. That's all.
Okay. So is it stuff that they played on the show, or what?
No, I think it had...
Well, clearly not, because they made this song specifically for the Beavis and Butt-Head, you said, right?
I don't know if they made it specifically for, but they just put it on there.
But if it debuted there, then they would have had a
I want to say it was just a bunch of tracks.
Because you couldn't parody that music video.
No. So I think they just compiled a bunch of music, and then, like, they had skits in it. I'm trying to remember, because
Okay.
I remember that there was a...
It was like a sampler album that they turned into a theme album.
Like Anthrax covered a Beastie Boys track. Was that this album? Yeah, Looking Down the Barrel of a Gun by the Beastie Boys. Anthrax covered it. Like you have Nirvana, Anthrax, Megadeth, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Was that the one that had I Hate
Primus.
Myself and Want to Die by Nirvana?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I forgot about that video. That's not what I wanted to talk about.
Well, if we're going dark, what was that video about?
The song 99 Ways to Die.
By the way, was that before or after Van Halen's Right Now? It was after, right?
It was 93. So when was Right
I
Now?
think Right Now is like 91. So
Okay.
Right Now, for those who don't know, is a song where they're singing while they're singing the video, showing you a bunch of factoids about mostly bad shit that's happening in the world, a lot of environmental shit and stuff like that. This video is a lot more specific. Instead, they're telling you about the toll of gun violence on children. You're 17 more times likely to die from a bullet than AIDS if you're a child, how more children die from bullets than natural causes, which makes sense because children don't die from natural causes because they're children. So that's not natural for them to die. That's a bullshit statistic. The video is full of children playing with guns and imperiled as a result.
Well, and then it ends with just a constant show of children who had been killed. It's like showing their yearbook
Right,
photos.
and like actual, like Runaway Train, which I think probably derivative, it was derivative as well, where they're showing you actual pictures of actual victims and the ages in which they were killed by a gun.
It's like, whoa, lots of imagery.
Yeah, and see, Dave Mustaine, my understanding is he's conservative, but not on this issue.
Well, at least not 1993.
Yeah.
I mean, now your political views change as you get older.
Sure.
So, holy hell. Although I think even most sane gun owners are anti-guns killing kids. I think it's more like, hey, you should be a responsible gun owner and lock your shit away, put it in a safe.
It did say guns equal suck at one point in the video.
It did, didn't it? Yeah, okay. So that's, I think he's probably changed his tune on that a bit. But anyway, that's not what I want to talk about. Quit trying to force a narrative here. I'm not talking about a narrative.
Well, I mean, if we're going dark in this episode, that definitely was dark.
It's dark, but we can go dark a different way. So anyway, let me get back to the lyrics because now I had to start Googling other The song is basically talking about somebody who can't die. So they're just trying to come up with different ways to kill themselves over and over and over again.
Why can't they die?
It doesn't matter. It's a song.
He's a Highlander?
It doesn't matter. It's a song. The hook is, we're not ready to see you yet. Like, you got to go back. We're not ready to see you yet. And like, basically he's getting to the pearly gates. They're like, not ready to see you yet.
Yeah,
You got
so
to go
it's
back down to
attempted
earth
suicides.
and then you kill again. Right. Not attempted suicide. It's goofier than that.
Okay.
It's not, yeah.
Near-death experiences.
No, I think it's literally, we're going to write a song with how many different gnarly ways you could die. So he's saying, down another glass of courage and a shot of Thorazine. I got a short between my earphones, would kill you, wringing my hands in dismay. More. Anyway, they're coming up with gnarly ways to die over and over and over again. The band was in kind of a thrill-seeking mode at this time. They were doing like skydiving. They skydove on Headbangers Ball with Alice in Chains and doing shit like that. So anyway, my question to the panel, Mr. Fixit, my question to the panel is how you want to go out. You thought about it?
Not really.
No, you haven't thought about how your preferred method of going out is?
Hopefully quickly and without me noticing.
So like in your sleep?
That's something I really focus on.
Well, look, dude, it's something that you don't think about it?
No.
Never. Your whole life you thought about it.
Dude, I could be walking out of my bathroom and trip on something and smash my head and die. I mean, it's
Yeah,
not
no
like I
shit.
thought about it. It happens
Sounds
random.
like you're thinking about it.
Random.
You don't have a preferred method.
Hopefully I'm 90 years old after fucking a 19-year-old in a blazing gun battle.
Wait, you want to get shot?
I had a 96, just got some ass. I'm ready to go. I'm tired.
well, why are you in a gun battle?
Yeah,
though?
where'd the gun battle come from? I thought you were going to say, like, coronary at climax, and you go, in a gun battle.
Right. I thought you were
from
gonna
Texas.
have. I thought you were gonna have the little death and then the big death
That's how you go to a blazing gun battle. Oh.
after fucking.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it would have been somebody's wife then, so
Probably.
that makes more sense than yeah.
You're
With
banging a
my history,
90-year-old?
with my history. Huh?
How about you, Diabolu Frank?
See, that's kind of trickier as far as how you want to die by natural causes. If it was suiciding, I've thought that if I was going to suicide, you think about something like jumping off a bridge or something, but that seems kind of terrifying. I'm not really good. I'm not
and
good with
mixed
heights.
results. They don't tell you about the mixed results.
Yeah,
on
mixed results, and that could potentially be very painful. I'd rather not have a lot of like pain and shit.
And you have jumped off a bridge before.
Yeah,
We
not,
talked about
not
that.
on purpose.
Hey,
Not
listen
on
to a
purpose.
previous episode of One Song Each.
So my preferred is actually heroin overdose. And before you ask, I've never done heroin, so I want to do heroin 2 times.
Utah, give me 2.
2 times. I want to do it the first time for the pleasure, the second time for the exit. So I think that'd be a good way to go. You're going to still feel a high. You're not going to have as good of a high the second time, but then you die, so you're really not worried about the diminishing return.
All right.
So obviously there would have to be
hooker
like
in between there?
Well, there would obviously have to be extenuating circumstances, like a terminal diagnosis or some shit like that. But yeah, I think heroin's a good way to go.
So you
out.
check yourself out a little early.
Yeah, just a little early potentially, but yeah, I think that's the good way to go. I've thought about a lot of those violent ways, and they're pretty messy and gross and not very fun. I don't get a big thrill out of like eating a bullet. That's plus you never know. I always think of like Arseface or something where you like fuck it up,
sure.
and then you're coming back from that. It's like I don't want to. No. It's just like if you have a heroin overdose and you fucked it up, A, you probably still had some fun with the heroin. B, you get a third shot, so that's not so bad.
Yeah, and my way was fucked up.
Well, I mean the fucking's nice, but especially in your 90s, I think there's some performance anxiety issues I wouldn't have to deal with.
Handful
I know
of Viagra. Just power down those things.
Oh, you are bleeding out of every orifice because your blood pressure is so high. Yeah.
I look like a Tarantino death scene. Spurting everywhere.
With the heroin,
From all the blood thinners and shit.
I get the pleasure without having to worry about anybody else being involved. I'm covered. I'm set. So yeah, I think that's a good way to go.
Hopefully, I have 2 6-shooters each hand.
I
just need
don't know
12
about the
shots.
shoot.
Plop, 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 and then I'm gone.
You just want to shoot the guns.
Well,
You're not shooting
as
at
long as
anybody.
you shoot
It's
your
nice to
love
be
gun
shooting and
first.
being shot at the same time. I mean, And you, Matt?
See, I don't know why you want to do anything after you come. Why do you want to if you come? Why do you want to follow up with a bullet? That's
Because
just
usually you're still kind of pumped. The blood's pumping. I'm certain my little soldier's still at attention. It's like, it's time to check out now.
how many guns are you waving at people?
At least I have 3 deadly weapons, but I got 2 guns, so
Do you want to ejaculate on somebody before you die? Is that what it is?
that's what the 19-year-old hooker was for.
It's all about the cock. It's all about the cock.
And being 96 years old.
How do we always come back to this in every single episode? I didn't think we were going there. I probably should have assumed it. Oh, mine is I don't know. Is that a total cop-out? It's a
Yeah,
total
you
cop-out.
pussy.
Absolutely.
I think it's probably going to have something to do with high speed
You think?
at a racetrack or something like that.
Blaze of Glory?
Like, it reminds
Are you
me
going
of
out
the...
Ghost Rider style, like your car's on fire?
No, it reminds me of the, what was the Adult Swim, not Adult Swim, Liquid Television skit.
Left and right engine thrust normal. Oil pressure normal. Pulse and perspiration rate rising but steady.
Brainwave activity stable. The magazine I sometimes write for wanted a story on Zach Hugh, better known as the God of Death, the uncrowned king of arena racing. For nearly 10 years, he dominated the action of the circus. Few drivers survived more than a year or two on the fast track to hell. Zach Hugh had done more than survive. In fact, he seemed to thrive on defying the odds. Sooner or later, he outraced or outlived them all. He was the best anyone had ever seen. His fans called him the man who would not die.
Stabilize, Zach. You're losing your lift.
Pulse rate continuing to rise.
We're getting some spiking in the brainwave scan.
By the time I saw number 37 race, 10 years of dancing with death night after night had begun to take its toll on his nerves and his mind.
Seeing Frank just jetted.
Are you talking about the Japanese one where
Yeah.
the racing? Yeah.
God, what was it called?
I don't know, but he has like the winner has psychic powers where he's actually destroying his competitors by making them crash while using his powers.
But he just keeps going
he
into
starts
eternity.
having, I guess, guilt because he keeps killing all these people because everyone died. They talk about how people die on this
all the
track
crashes
constantly.
every time he wins.
And it was because of him. And then all of a sudden he's racing these spirits and he can't keep up with them. They're going faster and faster. So he starts using his powers to push his car faster to keep up with them. At which point he's literally just turning himself into a giant flame ball. And it's just, that's the last race that they have.
His
there.
hovercraft or whatever
dude,
is like falling apart.
no,
he's like,
his blood vessels are popping in his head because he's using his power to push his vehicle. And all you see is the Spectre cars like buzzing him and flying ahead of him. And they look back at him and take off and he can't keep up. And I believe, he blows up and they talk about how that's the last race. And I think it's an investigator who's like investigating, trying to figure out what happened. And they're just like, whatever this was beyond comprehension. And they left that alone. I remember seeing it. It was really vivid because they used that scene where he's dying, where he's screaming for a lot of promotional work. I remember seeing that.
I think it was like, whenever they would do the Liquid Television VHS cassette or VHS collection.
Oh, I was just talking about
that
like
would be in the commercial for it.
Because I would watch it like really late at night when I would get home from work. And I remember, they'd be like Liquid Television next, and they would show all the little snippets.
It would always in the commercial. Yeah, the one of his face going, or whatever. Yeah. And I remember that it sucks he walked out right when I was going to talk about him. Diabolu Frank and I were trying to find that on the internet forever, dude. And it's a snippet of some Japanese.
No, it's in Japanese. You can find it, but you won't find the English version. They always take it down.
Well, there wasn't a lot of talking in it anyway.
No. The narration of the investigator.
Yeah, I guess that's true. About what happened or whatever.
I found it on YouTube, but it's the Japanese version. Somebody tried to put translation on about. I think it was in Spanish, even the translation. I did find an English version once, but they did that shit where they sped it up fast and had it backward, where they could try to get away with it, and it wasn't very good. But I've seen the original, and the thing is, the DVD's called like Nicro something.
I know.
It's like it's an anthology of different little movies or little clips,
like shorts.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is, Frank can edit whatever he's going to contribute to that, because I know he has opinions on that video. I think skydiving and your chute not opening would be a good one.
I've been skydiving. It's pretty intense and fast.
Yeah. But I think that's like the ultimate adrenaline rush, and then it would just end. No pain, but you have like
no, because you hear about these people that survive. You hear about these people that hit the earth and they survive. Like
you hear people surviving all sorts of stuff. I'm saying that doing one where you didn't would probably, like, you cannot tell me there's any, like some people say, oh, he died on impact, and you look yourself, you're like, I'm not so sure.
But would you want
a
chance you survived and you hit the ground and your
bones
are jello and you're like in a cast for the rest of your life? And
bro, I'd aim down. The people who survive are the ones who chicken out. You got to aim down.
That's what I'm telling you. You do 2 fistful of Viagra,
then jump out of a plane.
Then jump out of a plane. After you've had sex on the plane, then you jump out. Your blood's pumping full speed. If the heart attack doesn't kill you on the way down,
you're like, he forgot his chute. No, he didn't.
The sun stop will. He's just gonna stretch out his nutsack and see how much air he can
catch. What are you talking about? No, dude, that would be you ending it. You wouldn't
go out. You'd go out like a human comet.
That's what I'm saying. Go out like a human comet. Don't stretch your nutsack out. What are you talking about? He just walked away in the middle of my one song each.
Apparently he's having a moment because he's gone. I was trying to find the lyrics to mine. That's the hard part.
Here are the lyrics. I'll just read them since we're waiting. If I see the morning hours, I'll have one more yesterday. Take life from tomorrow because I've burned out my today. If I get up to the top, I know I'll just go right back down I'll go back down the hill. I got a terminal future and it's time to write my will. Down another glass of courage and a shot of Thorazine. We're not ready to see you yet. 99 ways to die. We're not ready to see you yet. Got a short between my earphones, wringing my hands in dismay. A more efficient maniac with 2 feet in the grave. And got no last words to say. Yellow yellow streak right up my spine. The gun in my mouth was real, and the taste blew my mind. In a black tie and straight jacket, man, I'm gonna try again. We're not ready to see you yet. 99 ways to die. We're not ready to see you yet. 99 ways to die.
It's pretty intense.
I don't know how to pronounce this word. Dimitass of arsenic. Another word, time I can use, Frank. Try on this tie. Never mind the tree. Hanging, obviously. There's only death and danger in the socket of my eyes. A playground of illusion. No one plays, they only die. There's a prison in my mind, and the bars are gonna break. I'm as mad as a hatter and strung out just the same. Taunting rigor mortis. I feel it draw me in. Metal, man.
I mean, that's definitely a unusual song to pick.
He said, let's go dark with it, so I picked a dark one.
I don't think I'll be able to keep up with you boys on this one.
Oh, another thing that reminded me of this song. You saw the dude who stole the fucking airplane from the airport?
Oh, yeah.
And the F-18s, or whatever, they scrambled jets to go after the dude, and then he like you knew you were suiciding, right? When you stole the plane. I guess they said he was talking to him on the headset going, I just cracked, man. I just cracked. I'm sorry, everybody. I cracked. And it's like, what, dude? Like, that's insane. Frank, we left all this silence here so it's easier for you to edit.
Thursday on Channel 5. Humble beginnings.
They derive so much pleasure.
Family man, devoted wife.
Sexual and otherwise.
Psychotic serial killers.
From the pain of others.
The whole story. Starting with When Fred Met Rose. Thursday at 10 on Channel 5.
Rose rang me at work and said the police were digging the garden up.
From the mind of a killer.
Come home quick. What on earth did you cut her up for?
In his own words.
She said she wouldn't fit in a dustbin. Her daughter in a dustbin.
The Unseen Fred West Confessions. 9 o'clock. Thursday on Channel 5.
MTV's stirring something up.
Liquid television.
A new half-hour series of the coolest animation on TV.
I know you're gonna dig this.
Take cutting-edge cartoons, plop in a few surprises, add some spice, and shake. Sunday nights at 7:30, only on MTV. Liquid television. TV that melts in your face.
Liquid Television premieres Tuesday, September 22nd at 10 on MTV.
Are you ready?
3 remarkable filmmakers. Rin Taro, Yoshiaki Kawajiri, Katsuhiro Otomo. 3 spectacular fantasies.
I cannot allow you to proceed.
Wait, don't leave!
3 anime masterworks. A feast for the senses. Unforgettable. Neo Tokyo.
Anyway, as I was saying, so we were talking about, when you left, I was saying high speed crash. What? And then I said, it reminds me, you know, the, what was the liquid television?
Swirly thing in the bottle?
No, the dude who fucking can't stop racing or whatever, and he blows up all the fucking guys. What was the?
Oh, Running Man.
Running Man. God. So we had a conversation about Running Man. Anything to add to that?
Awesome animation. The guy who did Running Man also did probably the best, or at least one of the best segments on the Animatrix. That's always been a cartoon that I would show as what animation is capable of. It's gorgeous cartoon, really well designed. Also very realistic, like American-centric realism, as opposed to the more caricature that's popular in most anime. So yeah, no, awesome cartoon. Big fan of that one. I still have that. I recorded it on VHS and I transferred it to a DVD, but it's a transfer of the VHS rip. You can sometimes find it online, but it has a nasty tendency of getting taken down whenever it pops up on places like YouTube, so it's pretty tricky to find. Last time I tracked anyway.
Anyway, because I think the imagery is cool. You're just driving so fast and so long, like you're literally just like turning into an energy being, and your car's breaking up around you and bursting into flames, but you're still traveling at an incredible speed.
Yeah, it's a situation too. There's a tendency toward that gratuitous, long imagery. Like you show the same thing, you know, things get stretched out in anime and manga a lot, where it's just like stretching. A lot of times it feels very gratuitous. I tend to be bored with it sometimes when they do that. But in this instance, because you're showing this guy the speed increasing and increasingly having an impact on his body and on his machine, it works in that context very well.
The way I would not like to go, but the one I would think a peak going out has got to be
Running Manning.
No, jumping out of a plane.
Okay.
Because I think that sustained adrenaline rush for the entire fall has got to be just sensory overload insane. And then when you hit, it's over. Like pretty much immediately. You've yet
to jump out of a plane.
Huh?
You've yet to jump out of a plane.
No, I do not plan to. Don't want to.
Oh, so you don't want to spoil. You're like me with the heroin. You don't want to spoil it by doing anything too early. You want to wait until.
I don't want to do it. But
but you think that's the best way to die?
Probably.
The loss of control. Being in this free fall, your parachute's not coming out, so you know you're going to die, and you're just waiting to die. I don't know if that moment gets stretched out to eternity or if it's relatively quick because you're just so freaked out. But I'm too much of a control freak. It would bother me too much to not have any recourse. The great thing about a heroin overdose is you still have the opportunity to call the. You can still dial 911. You're being quite the stupor and still call 911 and potentially survive if you change your mind.
Only on the Rolled Spine podcast will you hear the great thing about a heroin overdose. Oh man, hey, don't splice this into a promo. Anyway, yeah. So then I read the lyrics word for word. So you're gonna have to edit that to like the beginning, and there's gonna be some editing, and then we left a lot of weird silence.
Okay.
So it's easier for you to cut that out too.
What about waterfalls? Did you guys have any waterfall sound effects?
No, I don't like TLC.
No.
Oh,
the waterfall.
I thought you were talking about chasing them. No, we didn't hear any of that.
Okay,
I don't think anybody that showed up.
Yeah. We were talking about in Japan how you can activate a waterfall when you're really getting some grunt on. So
there's a button called privacy, and what it does is it plays a waterfall so that
and you can adjust the volume depending on how much grunting and chocolate raining you're doing.
Don't drop a chocolate
rain.
You're gonna add some shit that he said and while you were gone too. It's horrendous.
So a typical episode from the Rolled Spine Network.
Oh my god,
we're not the Rolled Spine Network. I forgot. We are a Rolled Spine podcast. We're not a network.
Zach Hugh was the best anyone had ever seen. An investigation into his death came up with nothing. It remains a mystery. Soon after his last race, they shut down the circus. Nobody seemed to mind. Maybe they'd finally seen what they'd been coming to see all those years.
And your turn, Mr. Fixit.
This song reminds me of a situation that we were at when I was younger. So I'm going to play the song for you. It's a corrido. So
a what?
Corrido.
I'm hitting the SAP
Spanish
button on my
narco song. I'll show that in there.
That's the thing I don't hear. I haven't heard that in a long time.
Heard what?
When I was growing up, you used to actually have folks blasting their Tejano music and doing the yelps and all that kind of shit. No, seriously, when I was a kid, I remember hearing that. I know, but I'm saying, okay, Mexican music, I didn't want to be, they know, okay. And so when I was a kid, I remember you get guys blasting their music and shouting and all that kind of shit. And over the years, that disappeared. And it's not just, my own life changing. It disappeared a long time ago. But I remember when I was a little kid, I used to hear that a lot. What happened with that, man? Can you speak for your people why that stopped happening? Or did it stop happening?
I don't speak for my people. It still happens. You're just not around it.
I'm just not around for
it.
Do they keep it like a little more undercover?
The groups you hang around don't do that.
No. But I mean, I lived in... And I don't remember having heard it at any point even in my teenage years. I don't remember hearing that anymore.
Dude, I was at a quinceañera like 2 months ago, and they were doing it while they were drunk.
One of my old coworkers would do it anytime. Anytime he heard that accordion, he'd go whatever like that. It's hilarious.
Now, you say the Germans brought the accordion into Mexico, right?
My understanding, yeah. The brass instruments, tubas, things of that nature.
Because you do have a lot of overlap between Mexican music and polka.
Yeah.
You'll have to specify what kind, because I'm not an expert in that. So, like, is there a specific realm of Mexican music that involves those instruments?
Regional. Tends to be regional.
Right.
Like, each one's different. So, corridos are like, like songs of basically criminals boasting about their crimes.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference between this and, like, let's say hip-hop is these guys actually did this shit. Like, they pay because they want to be recognized for the crimes they commit. And so they get guys like this to sing songs about them.
Yeah, one of my coworkers was listening to her music the other day, and one of the songs was distinctly Zydeco.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of influences floating around. It's not a monolithic sound or anything.
Lo velaron en la iglesia, el cura empezó a estar malo. Otro día por la mañana también lo estaban velando. Antes de morir le dijo que me entierren con el sapo. Se encuentran dos tumbas juntas, la del cura y la del sapo. Se fue a llevárselo a Dios como su buen abogado. Por un lado de su cliente, como estar en el juzgado.
So is Chuy Vega a dude or a duo, or what is...
I believe he's the singer.
Okay, because there's two dudes on the album cover on YouTube. And it looks like there's a lot of two dudes involved.
So say song and artist?
Well, the song's called El Sapo. It's by a singer named Chuy Vega. It's a corrido, so it means it's kind of like a crime song, I guess. It's hard for, I don't know. It's hard for me to translate into English what it is. I was taken to a private rodeo when I was a kid, because here in the H, there are private rodeos. So you have your big livestock show and rodeo where they have the cowboys with their gear on to protect themselves. Well, you can go to these little rodeos out in the boondocks where the guys literally just jump on the back of a bull, no gear, just a hat with a rope tied around the bull, and they'll ride the bull. And they'll have a band out there. They'll be playing this type of music like they do it back home. And so we went to one, a friend of mine, and I felt really out of place. That's just really deep Mexican that I've never been exposed to a lot. So we're there, we're watching the rodeo, and they're doing all kinds of tricks on horses, no protective gear. Dudes hit the ground or they're breaking arms. I distinctly remember a guy riding a bull, and the bull threw its head back and caught him in the face and just destroyed his face. Like, the dude was bleeding. The bull's back was covered in blood.
You give me flashbacks to when I was a kid going to Fiesta and seeing the Mexican tabloids that would show grisly crime scenes and shit. That shit fucking scarred me.
And I remember at first I thought, someone kept saying, oh, he just broke his nose. But when you saw, dude, like, you could see his teeth were gone.
Were all jacked up.
Jaw was crooked. Because the bull had caught him just right on the face. It was a fucking wild experience to go out there, and they're playing this music, and, you know, people are having a good time, and they're having these, I guess you would say, unregulated rodeos, because dudes are just getting hurt left and right. And I remember thinking, because my buddy was like, you know, we had been to the rodeos down here, and, you know, they're wearing headgear and these fucking safety jackets on, and these dudes were just jumping on there, some of them in like a wife beater t-shirt and a cowboy hat, jeans and boots. I don't know, it's just, that's about as crazy as I can think of when it comes to this. It's just, this song always reminds me, because they were playing this type of music out there the entire time. And I must have been at the time maybe 13 or 14. I was a kid. And I remember we were out there, and it was just crazy. I don't know if they still have them, because, you know, it's different now. You would see that shit all over. I remember we would go to flea markets, and you could see people making bootleg DVDs of those rodeos. That's about it, man. I ain't got nothing cool on this one. Just a song that kind of reminds me of this really crazy.
So what does he say in the song?
He's a sapo. I believe there's one part where he's talking about they cut off like 10 heads and throw them in the marketplace and let the people know. And at the end, he's talking about getting a good lawyer, basically, for all the shit he's done. They call him the Antichrist.
I thought I heard something in there about criminal or something like that, and I was like, what?
They refer to him as the Antichrist.
It's so weird because of the accordion. It just sounds upbeat.
Really?
Yeah, it just sounds like, to my gringified ears, I'm just like, oh, he's just playing an accordion. It's probably some happy, because like polka, I think of polka as like happy stuff.
And in our generation, you think of Weird Al when you associate polka too, so it's all fairly upbeat.
Well, I knew
innocuous
this wasn't weird.
shit.
Well, I knew this wasn't Weird Al. I knew it wasn't Weird Al, but yeah, I do. It's.
And see, I was trying to find the lyrics because I've heard the song quite a few times. I'm assuming it's a really popular song. Like I said, I remember hearing it at that rodeo and that dude having his face just crushed, and they're escorting him. I don't even think they put him in the back of an ambulance. I think they put him like in the back of a truck and we're driving him to the hospital. And people just like, next guy. And I was just like, holy shit, this is crazy. But again, this was so long ago, man. I sometimes wonder if those things still go on. I'm sure they do, but...
Can you tell me anything about this act?
No.
Because I'm trying to look them up on the internets, and I keep getting redirected to other people. Can I get this translated?
Yeah, it was the same way with me, too, and I was trying to find the lyrics to it. It would just go to like another song. I'm like, what?
Okay, so I'm going to give you some jacked up Google translation. Chuy Vega and his new cadets. Mr. Jesus Vega Cuamea, better known as Chuy Vega, is from the town of Hornos, municipality of Cajeme in the state of Sonora. Chuy Vega was a member of the Cadetes of Linares, which along with Mr. Lupe Tejerina toured much of Mexico and the United States. Chuy Vega decided to separate from the Linares cadets, who had their residence in Monterrey, Nuevos León, been there. Chuy Vega was part of the legendary northern group Los Cadetes de Linares as the first voice, I guess lead singer. In 1992, Chuy Vega separates and forms a new group, which he baptized with the name of Chuy Vega and Los Nuevos Cadetes de Linares. Under this name, they released several albums and managed to place on the radio numerous successes, among which stand out Una Paginas Más, managing to sell more than 1 million copies and placing it in the popular songbook and in the repertoire of more than 60 artists who have recorded it in band, mariachi, and norteño style. Chuy Vega is the brother of the already fine singers Sergio Vega and Ramon Vega. See, these guys kept popping up when I was trying to Google search them. And others from the Vega Cuamea dynasty, who are in total 13 brothers. Sergio Vega, I believe, died by gun violence or something along those lines. Let's see. He is murdered while on his way to perform at a village festival concert in the Mexican state of Sinaloa. Gunmen traveling in a truck drove alongside his red Cadillac and opened fire on the vehicle. They then reportedly fired shots at Vega's head and chest from close range. Vega was a singer of Norcaco Corridos. Is that...
Yeah.
Ballads that celebrate the lives of drug dealers. Musicians who play this kind of music in Mexico are known to sometimes become the target of rival gangs. At least 7 of these musicians have been killed over the past 3 years in Mexico. Of course, this is Wikipedia, so 3 years is a relative term.
That's crazy to me, dude, because like, I know you were like, you're trying to compare it to like rappers, and I'm like, dude, he's playing an accordion. It's just so weird to me that that's like some straight up gangster music we were just listening to.
Well, they
weird.
clearly originated gangsta because this shit goes back how far?
Shit, man. I can't.
Before your time, right?
Yeah. I remember them, I believe they would listen to it on AM radio and shit like that.
Well, I mean, Johnny Cash shot a man in Reno just to watch him die.
Just to watch him die.
I mean, that's pretty gangster stuff, too.
Yeah.
Also a great hook for a Time Life book series.
So that's all
Shot 44 men, one just for snoring too loud. You know the bit. You guys remember those books, the Old West books that Time Life was hawking back in the 80s?
I remember the Supernatural one.
Yeah, all that paranormal shit.
Yeah, I remember those.
Probably the fuel for many a 4chan Reddit thread.
A friend of mine, his dad, if you went to their house, remember back in the day you would go to someone's house and they would have like dictionaries or the encyclopedias. And I remember I went to my friend's house and his dad had the Wild West, the Supernatural ones. He had some that had about science and cars and like how things work, popular mechanic type books. That's what their shelves were full of. And it was always so funny to go to his house.
I at one time had a set of encyclopedias that I found in my grandmother's closet after she died. I lugged those around for a number of years. And so I'm well versed on extremely out of date factoids from the 1950s, including the racial subgroups of Caucasoid, Mongoloid, and Negroid, which I do not believe is in any way applicable in modern times, but it was something that I always remembered.
The last time I saw an encyclopedia was I was leaving a work thing at a restaurant/sports bar. This was probably 2011, and in the parking lot, there were just 2 Encyclopedia Britannicas cast in the parking lot. Why? I don't know. Where were the other letters? I don't know. Why were there 2 Encyclopedia Britannicas? Because I remember I took a cell phone picture of them. I'm like, these are literally, they were just encyclopedias, and I'm using the term. Mm-hmm. They were actual Encyclopedia Britannicas. 2 of them, just in the parking lot.
I don't remember which one mine were. They got lost in a move, unfortunately. So they basically got stolen from me. So somebody really wanted 1954 or whatever year it was encyclopedias, apparently.
I had a friend named Pete, and Pete's favorite thing was to go thrift stores and stuff like that. And I remember one day we drove out fucking way the fuck out in the country, me and another friend and him, because he really wanted to go. He kept telling us, hey, we're going to go to a sale. I'm like, all right, we'll go. Just check it out. So we're driving and we were gone for a while. We get the fuck out to like some little small town I'd never heard of, and their library was going out of business. They were shutting their library. So they were selling all the books in the library, and they were going for like between $1 and $2, I remember. And he was buying just fucking rows of books, entire collections of encyclopedias, some kind of map series that had like maps of the world.
Sure, Alice.
Yeah, just all kinds of. And I mean, this dude was just. We bought the trunk was full, and the backseat it was just full of books. It was just so weird to go to a library, just like buy their entire inventory.
Yeah.
And no one was really buying anything. People were just kind of looking around.
Hopefully he picked up Tropica Capricorn.
It was just crazy. They were selling
Seinfeld listeners. Seinfeld.
They were trying to sell everything. I remember they were selling the door handles, the light fixtures.
That's extremely depressing.
This is how far back. Remember when you would go to school and they would put the little recorder and you had to put the headphones on to listen to whatever.
Reel to reel.
No, the reel to reel. They were selling all those things, and I just remember he was buying all that shit, but he liked that stuff, so I just thought it was really weird. I never thought, what happens to a library when it closes?
Yeah.
Like, what happens to all the books? And
I mean, libraries liquidate books all the time, though, so it's not that uncommon.
I never knew that. I just assumed.
Yeah, they have like book drives to help support them to buy new books. You got to find them out of space. Those books have to go somewhere.
True,
often they get sold off. They're not getting checked out enough, and they just sell the shit. Get some money.
Okay. So what's next?
Chicago. A man is about to get on a routine flight. Suddenly he pauses. He doesn't know why, but he's got to walk away. An hour later, the plane goes down in flames. It's dismissed as chance. Britain. A woman has a sudden image of a black mountain that's moving, with children trapped underneath it. 2 hours later, a Welsh schoolhouse is buried in an avalanche of coal slag. It's dismissed as coincidence. Northern Texas. An unidentified flying object is reported by at least a dozen people. Although there were no storms in the area, it's dismissed as lightning. Now, Time Life Books announces an important new library, Mysteries of the Unknown, a series that explores the most controversial phenomena of our time and tells you everything that can be known. The Midwest. A mother feels a sharp pain in her right hand. Far away at that exact same moment, her daughter screams as she touches a hot pan. Just chance? Or is it telling us something about our own untapped capabilities? Mysteries of the Unknown goes deeper into unexplained phenomena than ever before. It documents the facts and uncovers what people were never willing to talk about. Stonehenge. A visitor fashions a wire antenna in the shape of an ancient Egyptian symbol. He points it at the stones, and a surge of power rushes into his arm, knocking him unconscious. Was it all in his mind, or was it much more than that? To experience Mysteries of the Unknown, examine your first volume, Mystic Places, for 10 days free. Then decide if you want to dismiss it.
To order your first book, Mystic Places, call 1-800-342-2700. Examine it for 10 days. Keep it and pay just $12.99 plus $2.98 shipping and handling. Other books will follow, one about every other month. Keep only the ones you want. Cancel at any time. Call 1-800-342-2700.
This hour of music goes out to the 188 Sage, Adriano, Dr. Ange, Batted Shapirak, Bone Dragon Comic, Chronicles Podcast, Chris at Bat Books for Beginners, the Cinnabud Podcast, Delvin Dark Web Felix Leiter, Darren Franks, a.k.a. Devastator, Ezra Gallo, G.A. Sanchez, Ice in the Face, Indie Imprint, Into the Weird, Iowa's Joe Crawford, Jack at Spidey Memoir, Jared Ulrich, The Yard Sale Artist, Jason X117, Jeffrey Brown, Justice First Dawn, Keith G. Baker, Ken Stark, Christanos, extra shout out to Pat Sampson, Longbox Crusade, Longbox of Darkness, Linnell Skaggs, Odell Abner Dracula, Olivia Balafika, Rad Adventures Podcasting Network, Randy Caldwell, Ryan Daly, Sean Michael Ortega, Secret Wars and Beyond Podcast, Seinfeld Podcast, Tim Price, Travis of Samaria, Trekker Talk, Wonder Woman, Warrior for Peace Podcast, and Zach Sally. Ryan Daly called in to say, as I've said on my own shows, I liked Prince throughout the 80s, but I really got into him in the late 90s. Something inspired me to get his Greatest Hits box set, and from there I went into deeper dives into his catalog. What inspired me to get the Greatest Hits, you ask? It was Beck's Midnight Vultures album. Love that album. Love the overt Prince homages. So after I listened to Deborah for the millionth time, I went back to the source. I was happy to hear Midnight Vultures get so much love on this episode. Also, I don't recall ever saying one word positive or negative about the song Mountains. Not sure where that came from. I'm pretty sure I heard it on Ryan and Neil Daly's tribute to Prince from a few years back. I think there's an FW Presents, and now Fire and Water Records exists, and they recently did an episode called Purple Rain that looked at Prince-alike artists, so check that out. The 108 Sage called in to say, Prince, a special, magical genius that took me too long to come around to, because I held a grudge against him for years after he ripped off the name being a simple thing from me, who totally had my name symbol set several years before he put his out. See my Insta avatar pic. Randy Caldwell wrote, I am attempting to listen to the latest Spawnometer while listening to Prince music. Looks like it will be controversy and dirty mind. I had to pause you for Do Me Baby. I have one AirPod in the left ear playing the podcast, and my classic cheese grater Mac with the subwoofer is playing Prince. I have all the music in my iTunes playlists. I mean, I bought it all years ago. I still have not found the ideal audio levels to listen to y'all and the future artists. I even have physical media. Hashtag Think Different, hashtag Media Hub. I subscribe to your YouTube channel. I don't comment there though. It's difficult to comment on your somewhat smart televisions. That's where I watch YouTube. Finally, Odell Abner Dracula dialed us to say, I recognize you guys can't do a new podcast every time someone drops dead, but I'm submitting a request for a Rocky Erickson episode. When none of us knew who Rocky Erickson was, he sent us a Charlie Brown cartoon where he goes rats. He also gave us a Prince-related link to comic book resources, and then he sent us a picture. Here it is, less glamorous by daylight, I admit. This has been Del Dracula reporting live from somewhere up there, hashtag Minneapolis. And of course there's a picture of the First Avenue Club made famous in the movie Purple Rain.
One song each is a Rolled Spine podcast. This is a not-for-profit fan production. Any copyrighted materials used is believed covered under fair use, with no infringement intended. Please leave your comments and criticisms on our website. We especially encourage participation on this show. Feel free to call in and leave a request. Maybe you'll even get featured on the show. We thank you for your rapt attention.